Alright, so I figured I'd do a little video on this, and some of you might, and some of you might not know this. This particular plant right here, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's called Sassafras. This is one of the plants that are generally used to make sassafras soda, or what do they call it? You know, root beer in general is generally made from this tree. Originally, the original root beer recipes would use the root from this tree because it had a very root beer type flavor. It's very concentrated in the roots. But they eventually banned that because they found out that this thing causes some kind of issue with your blood pressure, your heart regulation, or something strange like that. And because of that reason, they generally banned it. So anyway, I have this plant over here, and it's coming up, this tree, sassafras tree, and I am enthused about it because in general, this is a tree that I'd like to grow so I can make my own sassafras beer or root beer, or I think there's another name for it. There's another name. It's not root beer. It's not sassafras tea. It's something else. If I remember, I'll put it down in the maybe the comments or the description. But one way you can tell that this is sassafras is, number one, you can tell by the leaf. Now, this may not be sassafras because there are a couple of leaf types that are out there that look similar to this. But what's making me think that it's sassafras is because the younger leaves that are coming off this plant look like this, which is what they look like originally, and then as the plant gets larger and matures a little bit more, they tend to get this look here. Now, I believe there's a tulip tree that does something similar to this. It looks similar, so this could be that one. I don't have the exact identification, but whenever I'm in the woods and I see this tree, I usually break off a branch and I chew on a branch to get that flavor out of it. So one of the ways you can tell is you can pick a leaf or break a branch, and we'll pick one of the less valuable leaves. We're just going to taste the stem. And you would just take the stem and kind of chew the end of it a little bit. It doesn't, I don't know how to explain this. It's kind of like sweet a little bit, but it doesn't taste like root beer. But it kind of has a little bit of a root beer undertone to it. Now, that's the leafy green part of it. But when you get down to the root and you get to the root area, that's the part that's really going to taste like root beer. But it has a very distinctive flavor. It's very floral in nature. Has a very floral type flavor. I don't know any other way to put it. It's just floral. And it's very distinctive. You'll know it when you taste it. And it leaves a nice taste in your mouth. It's kind of like a breath freshener almost. And, you know, you can just chew on it. And you're not going to get energy or anything. But it's a nice little pick-me-up as you're hiking in the woods and you want to chew on these. Again, you know, do your own research as far as the health effects of actually consuming parts of this plant. Some people will tell you it's really, really bad for you. Don't do it. Some people, like myself, don't believe that it is bad for you at all. They just made that one observation based on one person who probably got sick from it, and who knows why they did. Maybe they were consuming ridiculous amounts of it. You know, everything in moderation. A little bit ain't gonna actually do anything to you. I've been chewing on this plant for years. I'm not dead, so I'm not exactly sure, you know, what the deal is with the sassafras root. Now, the replacement that they made for this plant when making root beer, the replacement was the sarsaparilla plant, which I'm eventually going to seek out and see if I can find one in the wild. And I'm going to do a video on a sarsaparilla because that's really the plant that really gives you the best root beer flavor. Now, this plant will give you a good sarsaparilla root beer type flavor, but no, sassafras, not sarsaparilla. The real root beer flavor really comes from the sarsaparilla. But this sassafras tree will give you a flavor very similar to it. Now, there are places that still will make sarsaparilla, but again, it's probably, I don't know if they removed that ban, so now it's legal again. I don't remember. But I remember for the longest time that this, any drinks made with this was actually banned in the United States at one point because it supposedly caused you to get cardiac arrhythmias. I don't know. You got to look it up. But this is the main plant that it started with, and then they eventually discovered sarsaparilla, and then they started making root beer out of that, which actually gives your signature root beer flavor, the flavor you get. But original root beer was originally made with this plant. So this is originally what it was made with, and that is sassafras. So I got me a little sassafras tree coming up. I'm very happy with that. I'd like to be able to maybe, I don't know, take it with me when I go. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, these grow like weeds anyway, but the root system is really what I want. You can make a nice concoction with it. It's very easy to make. You can make tinctures out of the root and get the juice from it, and then just apply that in any way you want. You don't necessarily have to make soda, which is a video I am going to do in the future. I'm going to show you how to make a really good root beer soda. I will show you that. Unfortunately, I do have to use sugar with that, but I'll use an all-natural sugar or maybe even coconut sugar. I don't really know at this point, but we'll do a video on that in the future. I'll show you how to make soda using sassafras and or sarsaparilla, but unfortunately the sarsaparilla I have to buy because I've been looking for sarsaparilla now for a couple of years and I can't seem to find any. But it does grow native in this area. It will, if you look hard enough, you will find it. So, all right, so that's just a quick look at the sarsaparilla plant. If you see this plant, don't hesitate to break a small branch off, chew it a little bit, get an idea what the flavor is. You might like it, you may not like it. If you're generally somebody who don't really care for the taste of root beer, you're probably not going to like the sarsaparilla, sassafras plant. So anyway, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.